Before the metro transformed Kolkata, before the endless stream of cars, buses, and motorcycles filled its streets, another sound defined the city. It wasn't loud, it wasn't impatient, it was the gentle bell of a Kolkata tram, asking people to make way as it slowly rolled through the streets. The trams never seemed to be in a hurry. They moved like miniature trains running on city roads, carrying office workers, students, families, and dreamers from one end of Kolkata to another. For millions, they were simply public transport. For me, they became one of the happiest memories of my childhood. Some tram routes were simply magical. One of the most beautiful was through the Maidan. As the tram glided quietly beside the vast green fields and rows of old trees, it felt as though a tiny train had wandered into a giant park. The city suddenly became peaceful. The breeze entered through the open windows. The slow rhythm of steel wheels against steel tracks became music. Unlike buses, nobody expected the tram to race. The journey itself was part of the experience. As a child, I didn't know I was watching history. I simply thought this was how Kolkata would always be. I was wrong. One of our neighbors was a man I loved dearly. I called him Dadu. He had lost his wife many years earlier. I only have faint memories of her because I was still a little child. He lived with his two grown up sons, yet somehow every day he always had time for me. I would walk into his house almost every afternoon. Sometimes we talked, sometimes we played, sometimes I simply sat beside him. Children doesn't measure love by expensive gifts. They remember who gave them time. Then one day Dadu came up with an idea that still amazes me. In those days, Kolkata's tram service offered an all-day ticket. Buy one ticket and you could travel a trams for the entire day. Most people probably bought it because it was economical. Dadu saw something entirely different. He saw an adventure. He decided that we would spend the whole day traveling on Kolkata's trams. No destination, no urgent work, no timetable. Just ride from one tram to another and discover the city. Even today, I can't remember every route we traveled. Memory has erased those details, but it has never erased the feeling. Sitting beside Dadu, watching Kolkata slowly pass outside the window, listening to the gentle tang tang, it felt like the entire city belonged to us that day. Looking back now, I realize he wasn't merely taking me on a tram ride, he was giving me a memory that would last a lifetime. The history of Kolkata's trams stretches back to the 19th century. Horse-drawn trams first appeared in the city in 1873. Although that early experiment did not last, tram services returned in the 1880s and gradually became an essential part of Kolkata's transport system. Later, electric trams replaced horse-drawn cars, making Kolkata one of the earliest cities in Asia to adopt electric tramways. For decades, the tram became the heartbeat of the city. Students traveled to colleges, office workers commuted every morning, families visited relatives. Children looked out through the open windows as neighborhoods slowly drifted by. Unlike today's transport, the tram encouraged people to slow down. People talked, they read newspapers, they observed the city. Time moved differently, and perhaps that is why so many Kolkatans still remember the trams with affection. But cities changed, roads became busier, private vehicles increased rapidly, buses and later the metro offered faster travel. Maintaining tram tracks in crowded streets became increasingly difficult. Route after route disappeared. For some people, the tram had become outdated. For others, it remained a symbol of Kolkata itself. Today, only a small part that once vast network survives. The familiar bell still rings, but far fewer people hear it. Sometimes I wonder, what if Dadu had never bought that all day ticket? To everyone else, it may have been just another tram journey. To me, it became one of the greatest gifts of my childhood. Not because we traveled far, not because we visited famous places, but because someone chose to spend an entire day making a little boy happy. Whenever I think of Kolkata's trams, I don't first remember the tracks. I remember Dadu. I remember sitting beside him. I remember the open windows, the breeze, the wooden seats, and the gentle sound. Today, people often measure transport by one question: how fast can it get me there? The tram asks a different question: can you enjoy the journey? Perhaps that is why the story of Kolkata's trams is not only about the steel tracks or old vehicles, it is about a city, it is about people, it is about childhood, and for me, every time I hear that familiar bell, a little boy and his dadu begin another journey through the streets of Kolkata.